If you died and you had no friends, your funeral would be pretty much empty, which is kind of embarrassing. But you can pay professional actors to be briefed on the details of your life, and they'll quietly blend into the crowd during the funeral, making it look like you were popular. They can cry on command, and if no one wants to make a speech, they can even do it themselves, making up heartwarming memories based on their notes about you. He fled from police after shoplifting and hid in a stranger's house, where a 9-year-old boy was home alone. The man started searching for car keys while the boy escaped, but police soon surrounded the house. And over the next 19 hours, a SWAT team launched grenades, fired gas rounds, and drove an armored truck through the doors. Finally, the suspect was arrested, but when the family returned, they found the house completely destroyed. The city refused to pay for the damage, and even though they sued, the judge said they deserved nothing. She escaped her abusive boyfriend, taking her puppy with her to a hotel. But since she worked 12-hour days, the puppy got bored and chewed through the pipes. When the hotel manager found out, he told her to get rid of the puppy or they would both be kicked out. With no other option, she called an Uber to the vet, planning to get the dog put down. But when the driver found out, she called her husband, and they both agreed to adopt the puppy instead, saving his life and giving him the home he deserved. He pulled the dying crocodile from the riverbank and took it home to treat its injuries. For 6 months, he kept it in a secret pond behind his house, where he would feed it 9 pounds of meat a day. He even slept beside it, thinking his love would heal its wounds. And when he tried to release it back to the wild, the crocodile refused to leave and ended up staying with the man for over 20 years. A man fired multiple shots at a cactus in the Arizona desert in 1982. Now, he did this just for fun, but the cactus actually began to crack. And this cactus was a saguaro, standing at over 20 feet tall and weighing thousands of pounds. Suddenly, a massive piece of the cactus broke off and came crashing down on the man. He was instantly crushed under its weight and killed. They gave a baby a rat to play with, but then struck a steel bar behind him, making him cry. They did it again, and every time the rat appeared, the noise followed. You see, the scientists were training the baby's brain to connect the rat with the loud, scary sound. And after a while, just seeing the rat made him cry. This also caused him to fear other white objects and things with fur. This showed the researchers that fear could be taught, but the baby left the hospital before their study was finished, meaning they never got the chance to undo the fear they had created. If you murder someone and then confess the murder to a priest, they cannot tell anyone, ever. You see, it's called the seal of confession, and breaking it will get you kicked out of the church forever. But what if you confess that you're about to kill the priest's own mother? Well, the priest still has to stay silent. He can't warn her, can't call the police, he can't even sit outside her house to protect her, because any action could reveal what he heard. But what if a priest does break the seal of confession and then confesses that to another priest? Well, that second priest also can't tell anyone, because now that confession is sealed too. He walked into the bank pretending to be a health inspector and demanded all the staff take a vaccine. They lined up and swallowed it, but moments later, they collapsed in extreme pain. You see, he had actually given them a deadly poison. And as it started to kill them, he grabbed cash from the vaults. 12 people died slowly and painfully, and all he walked away with was a few $100s. If you take the $10 million, you'll spend the rest of your life being chased by a poisonous snail. Now, it might sound like a good deal, but the snail never stops moving. And if it touches you, you die. It knows where you are, it's always coming, and it will arrive eventually. Now, you could move countries and switch hotels every few nights, but if you slip up just once, the snail wins. It can't be killed, it doesn't age, and it never forgets. So would you take the money if it meant a lifetime of paranoia? A cat jumped into a well full of animal waste in an Indian village, and its owner climbed in to save it. But he got trapped, and the waste had filled the well with poisonous fumes. When he cried for help, his son jumped in to save him, but he also got trapped. 3 more members of the family tried to help, jumping in one after the other, but they all got stuck in the well. Finally, a 6th family member entered with a rope around his waist. He was pulled out after the villagers heard the cries, and the other 5 men were suffocated by the well's toxic gases. When the ant finds food, it oozes out chemicals through its abdomen, leaving a trail that tells the other ones where to go. And after the other ants ate, they would add their own chemicals on their way back, which would strengthen the scent, attracting more ants. Now, if the leader ants accidentally circled back to the middle of the trail, the other ants would start joining, reinforcing the circle while the original path slowly disappeared. And with no exit, they would march for hours until every single one died from exhaustion. She was reaching into a donation bin when someone pushed her from behind. The heavy door slammed shut as she fell inside. There's no handle or latch, just smooth metal and steep walls too high to climb. She screamed for help, but no one heard her. And for 3 days, she lay curled up on old clothes with no food or water. Finally, someone heard her cries and firefighters cut her out. But this wasn't her first time. She'd already been rescued from a donation bin 2 times before. If you shoot at bulletproof glass, the outer layer absorbs the impact and shatters. But under this is a tough plastic sheet that acts as a web catching the shattered glass. The energy is then evenly distributed across the surface, which reduces the bullet's force. And if that isn't enough to stop it, there's another layer of glass backed by more plastic that ensures the bullet would not make it all the way through. If you fall into a gorilla exhibit, you might try to scream and run, but this could upset the gorillas, making them attack. Instead, stay calm and avoid sudden movements. Slowly crouch down to look small and non-threatening, and don't make eye contact. Calmly back away towards a safe structure like the enclosure walls. If a gorilla approaches, stay still and they might just lose interest. And remember, zoo staff are trained for these emergencies, so wait for their help to escape safely.